Good afternoon, everybody. This is Frank Salas, also known as the Talented Mr. Salas, with my amazing, phenomenal big brother and co-host, my boy, Mr. Matt Crane. You can follow him everywhere on social media at I am Matt Crane, and you can find him at his website where he has phenomenal blogs at robertmatthewcrane.com. Matt, what's up, dude?
Man, I tell you what, Frank, it's always a pleasure to be here. Millennial Moguls. I got two monitors going on. I got Facebook Live fixing to jump off. And, I'm just having a phenomenal week. Really excited about bringing the goods to Vegas. And, I'm really excited. Like everybody, like my man Frank said, my name's Matt Crane. You can get at me on all social media channels at I am Matt Crane. And one thing I want to tell everyone, if you don't do anything with your boy, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time every Monday through Thursday, I'm dropping the Power of Great live stream series. It's my complimentary training series that I do on live stream. And what I do is I walk people through a lot of different processes. This week, I've really been breaking down the power of prospecting and showing you guys how to leverage the platforms for prospecting. So I definitely want to make sure everybody comes in and does that, because that's some big time training that I charge people $2,000 to $5,000 a pop to do, and some of that information I give away, because the complimentary part of what I love to serve my tribe with is why I have such hella vibe.
Hey, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And you guys got to be in Matt Crane's inner circle. He's got a private Facebook group called Crane's Crew. And I don't know anybody else that serves on a consistent, daily, regular basis like Mr. Matt Crane. I want to give a huge shout out to Sunshine Lady Annette out in Munich, Germany. She's a superstar in my tribe, the Talent Tribe. If you want to be a part of my inner circle, go ahead and look at that private Facebook group, the Talent Tribe. Today, we are talking on episode 5, Millennial Moguls, and we're talking about traditional media versus new media. And for those of you guys who don't know the difference, traditional media is going to be radio, print, TV, and billboards. And new media is web, social media, mobile, and applications. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And both are very viable, but we're going to talk to you about where should you allocate your resources as a business? Where should you put those out there? So that being said, without further ado, let's jump into this. And right now we have this huge rift between millennials and baby boomers. For example, if Matt Crane or myself meet a CEO and they're a baby boomer, the first thing they want to do is go traditional media, because in their lifetime, they've seen people do infomercials. They've seen people do TV. They've seen people do radio. And radio has worked for them in the past. But in order to stay adaptable with the times, a lot of people must be at least open-minded to the new types of media. So what's your thoughts just overall? We're going to get into it, but overall traditional media versus new media, Matt?
Well, I think for me right away, I think you need to embrace traditional media, but I think you need to leverage new media first. And the reason being is because, like my man Aaron Roth at Archon Mount said today, big shout out to those guys. A lot of us are using their products right now, but he said, anytime I see a big line, I don't ask what's going on. I just jump in the line, because it means I need to be a part of something. And so right now, Frank, new media has the big line, the Black Friday line, if you will, wrapped around the corner. And, I tell people that for me, why would you not want to embrace the change? Why would you not want to see that? And I think too many people are leaning too heavily on traditional media, and they're failing to realize that that's what's really breaking the bank too. Because traditional media, they don't have any room anymore to negotiate their prices. They have to do what they have to do because new media is basically taking them out.
I agree, man. I agree. And we're on Blab right now talking about the battle of the ages, old versus young, traditional versus digital. And baby boomers have, they have the right to really feel that traditional media does have a lot of reach, because right now in 2015, traditional media on radio actually has a 250 million person reach right now, traditional radio. That being said, something like a Facebook gives you access to 2 billion people on the planet, and you can target it by geographic location, interests, gender, creed, color. You can be as discriminating as possible on social media, and specifically Facebook. And that's the value to most people. But I want to give a very objective look at both, because again, both are very viable. So let's go ahead and start off with traditional media, and let's talk TV. what's TV like these days? All I see when I turn on TV is Trump and Hillary, Trump and Hillary, Obama, Trump, Hillary, Obama, and then of course all the negative stuff that the news likes to perpetuate.
Well, I think the problem with when you start thinking about traditional media is that TV was the new media at one point, right? And so what's happened is that all these baby boomer marketers that are now the executives of these organizations and of these big TV channels, they put all their eggs in one basket. And what new media has done, in my opinion, has come in and traditionally untraditionalized that platform. And I say that in an oxymoron stance because no longer are our parents oblivious to social media. You know, think about what Facebook did just 10 years ago. It was a college-based platform, and now it's dominated by moms and grandfathers and grandmothers. And so I think television in general, you're going to see cable companies disappear, I believe, in the next 5 years if they don't adapt.
I love that. I love that. And if you notice, most people who are on, who are in America, 90% of people in America have smartphones. And because they have smartphones, a lot of people are canceling their TV, their cable, their satellite. They're not listening to the radio. They're listening to podcasts or listening to YouTube. They're listening to Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, 8Tracks, all of those different applications. And even when we do watch TV, like I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan and I don't watch TV, but if my boy Tony Romo's out there under center and the Cowboys are playing, the first thing I'm doing is as the game's going, I'm looking at my phone. I got my tablet on. You know, my friends that are in fantasy football, they're checking their stats. And it's called the second screen phenomenon, for those of you guys who aren't aware. And everybody at the movies is even on their phone right now. And it's just constantly our attention is focused right in here. So what are your thoughts on the second screen phenomenon, Matt?
I mean, I think that I think that it goes back to what we've said all along, Frank, is that too many people are trying to figure out how to adapt instead of just adapting. You know, and I think what you're going to wind up doing is you're going to have so many people that are still talking about trying to get matinee prices, and they're going to continue to pay full price for the show. So what's going to happen is that you've got to embrace that second screen option that I talk about. Look, check this out. Social media, you start looking at all the number of users on the platform, and then you start looking at all the number of users that have it on their mobile device. Okay, Instagram or Facebook, for instance, 1.3 billion active monthly users. Out of that 1.3, a billion are active on their mobile phone. 800,000 of that billion is active only on their mobile phone through the platform. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the local TV station they do not have the revenue or the means to get on someone's mobile phone. And so what happens is that you have to adapt. Frank, you're a digital nomad. Your business is built on the go. So you can't be tied down, right? You can't be tied down to those contracts. And so, but at the same time, there's parts of your business, there's parts of traditional media, as I would call it, that you need to be paying attention to. And so having somebody that's mobile, here's what I would say, Frank, to sum it all up. And it just hit me. And I'm sorry it took me to all that sentence to get to this point. But here's what I'm going to tell you is that you probably aren't even going to figure out if you like it or not. You just need to know that it's going to give you access to what you need. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Boom, now you're on a whole different platform and you get to become the expert.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And you know what? Cassandra Jackson, who's joining us live on Periscope, enjoying our episode, says that's why cable companies have raised their prices. And this is true. The last time that I went to go look at a traditional ad, because Matt Crane and I both serve companies that have substantial marketing budgets, and we consult them. And we do believe that traditional media is very viable. But in the last few years, all of the cable companies and TV companies have been increasing their prices because they're losing subscribers. People would rather pay Netflix $8 and share that login with like 20 people and really get in front of the right people in there. And so Matt Crane is showing us something right now. What is this, Matt?
So this is my internet bill, right? So I have local internet, just to tell you guys how the digital platform's changing. So my local internet is originally $34.95. This month, I got a letter, okay, in the mail with my bill that says, due to the ever-changing format, right, that by August 1st, we will implement a rate increase.
Ooh.
It doubled. And the reason why it doubled is because they could not compete with these digital giants like Verizon, AT&T. And so what did they have to do? They had to ramp up their fiber optics. And the reason why I want to show you that bill, because it plays right to what Frank was saying, is that what do you think I immediately did? I canceled my local service. You know why? Because for $34.95, I'm going to go join AT&T. You know what I'm saying? So, and what happened is that when I consulted with this with this utility company for so many years, I told them, you guys are 3 years behind the curve, and you're going to be left holding the bag at the bank when you don't have an opportunity to pay for all the expansions that you need. And so, what Frank, what a lot of people don't understand, to your point, is that there's dark fiber sitting out everywhere. Okay, what dark fiber is companies like Verizon and AT&T. The reason why you see them come in and buy up market share is because they're buying up land. Okay, they're buying up footprint. They're going in and they're laying down dark fiber optic cable and they're turning it off. And then when communities want to expand their footprint so they can raise their tax base, you got to use their service because they're already there. So that's called new media, ladies and gentlemen. And it's because of new media that's available. Okay. Did anybody ever think that Google would have their own internet source called Google Fiber? No. I mean, so Google was a search engine and now it's getting into the digital space. So, you know, I think, Frank, it's adapt or die. And as you can see from my local utility company, they came to the party with a shovel when they needed a rake.
Right. And you know what I love about, being with Matt Crane and associating myself with him is the way he views business. Look at him. He's talking about dark fiber. I have no idea what that is. And I just got some diamonds, from that. And when he has the ability to foresee business and business development, and that's his specialty. He not only understands business, he understands how to scale business at a huge level. So let's go ahead and really talk. Let's talk to the benefit of traditional media. If something like the Oscars is on, if something like the NBA Finals is on, if something like the Super Bowl is on, like everybody loves the commercials. And the next day, people aren't even talking about the games. They're talking about the commercials of the Super Bowl. So traditional media is still working, but you got to pay to play. And people are watching events. Like right now, it's the Olympics, and people are all about the Olympics. They want to know if Michael Phelps is going to bring home 20 gold medals, if he's going to do all that. And because of that excitement, you notice everywhere is hyping up the Olympics. And of course, the Olympics is a global, worldwide event, but they're hyping it up like crazy. They're telling us all the storylines and how Michael Phelps was doing the Phelps face to this guy and, getting him X, Y, and Z, getting all riled up. And they're like, you guys got to get on there. And they're perpetuating this drama. They're perpetuating this storyline because they want us to be tuned in. But before, they weren't doing that level of perpetuating storylines. You had guys like Muhammad Ali out there saying, I am the greatest, and going out and like promoting his own fight. And because of that, you notice that people are taking what he was doing to build up himself, and now companies are adapting with that technology, adapting with that strategy to leverage themselves, their platforms, and to be able to make up for that lost income. So traditional media is still viable, but you've got to pick and allocate your resources the right ways. If somebody is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, where my hometown is, and they want to advertise, I would say, why don't you advertise during the Cowboys game, or the Dallas Mavericks games, or the Texas Rangers game, because people are going to watch live events. So I really feel traditional media is great for live events or huge shows like I don't watch TV right now, but I know everybody loves that TV show Empire. Everyone's busy watching Empire when they should be out there building their empire.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, Frank, microphones are always going to be valid, right? But you can make a louder noise with a megaphone. And so traditional media is the microphone of the marketing world, and social media is that megaphone. So when you really think about why traditional media will always have relevance, it's because new media will know how to leverage it better. So, and if you think I'm not telling you the facts, the QR code would have never came had traditional media not needed to get their message more adaptable on mobile devices, which is a new media. So when you saw the QR codes coming out, is because these companies were trying to decrease their marketing collateral base and was trying to put it on a digital space or a new media. The problem is that new media was so new that no one knew how to mass market it yet. Well, now we do. And I'm going to tell you guys this. If they can ever figure out the FEC regulations and all these different ways to figure out how all these commercials that the Super Bowl would advertise on traditional media and be able to hit time zones differently, traditional media might be in trouble. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I sent this out to Gary Vaynerchuk when he had a race car driver on the Ask Gary V show. And I said, look, if you guys want to change the game for racing and virtual reality, what you need to do is you need to put a virtual reality camera inside the race car and let people pick their own race car driver and drive the car with them during a race. I says, you think that would improve the enhancement of that particular sport? Oh my goodness. Tennis, the engagement with tennis would go up. The engagement with golf would go up. Baseball would go up. They're the most boring sports in the world. Baseball is the most boring sport on planet Earth, in my opinion, and I played it at a high level. But and so there again, Frank, I think it's like you said, man. I sum it up like this: traditional media is a microphone because we still need it, but I would rather use a megaphone because I know more people are going to hear me that way.
Absolutely. And I'm actually here in Las Vegas right now preparing for my growth hacking conference. And that Matt Crane's going to be the keynote speaker there. He's going to bless us with his swagger and really help us out with that. And to get publicity, I'm still going to TV stations. I'm still going to radio stations. I'm still putting the message out there because I want people here locally to take advantage of being able to work with us and influence them to become influencers on social media. So, even though I'm all about new media and marketing, I still incorporate that. So I still want to be very objective and let people know that this is something that we really believe in new media. But just because we believe in it so strongly, we're not ignorant. We're not ignorant to the fact that media and radio, print, billboards, these types of things can work. But now that we've got a blend real quick, and I'm glad you brought it up with virtual reality, and I want to kind of switch gears to augmented reality for something like Pokemon Go. And we talked about Pokemon Go a few times in this podcast here on Blab. And Pokemon Go is an example of augmented reality. And what Matt Crane was just talking about, we putting people in race cars, putting people, courtside with, the tennis players with Serena Williams and Venus Williams and all of those peeps. That's the next evolution of getting people's attention to consume content, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's a conference, whether it's a speech by Hillary or Trump or Obama or any of the presidents and prime ministers all over the world. That's the next step. And right now, virtual reality doesn't have any ads on it. Augmented reality does not have any ads on it yet. But there's going to be a company, or maybe even companies now like ABC, NBC, CNN, those companies are now going to start broadcasting on virtual reality, and we might not have flat screens in our home. We might have flat visors now, and everybody plugs in, and you got to go out and buy those things. So this is all coming in like the next 18 to 24 months. We're that close to this level of stuff. Just like 2 years ago, nobody was thinking that people would be able to do live stream at this capacity, because at the time, the capacity, the infrastructure, the bandwidth wasn't regularly available. But now we have Google Fiber building dark fiber optic cables for neighborhoods that are not yet built, just like Matt Crane was educating us. So, it's still a viable option to use traditional media, but new media is definitely kicking traditional media's butt.
Yeah, and it really goes back to the point of new media is very adaptable. And so when you really look at new media from a structural standpoint, from the top down, is that it appeals to every age group.
Yeah, man, it will appeal to every age group, because now, like you said earlier, your mom is on Facebook, your grandma is on Facebook. All these people are now joining Facebook, and that's getting them interested and connected to those concepts. It's getting interested and connected to those platforms. And of course, now you're seeing more sponsored posts. Instagram, which was bought out by Facebook 20 months ago, just recently in the last 90 days, in the last quarter, has started putting out Instagram sponsored posts. And posts before, they were just an ad, like you put your ad there, but now ads are getting more interactive, and you can go and from Instagram, you can actually download applications. You can register for webinars. You can sign up on email lists. You can book appointments with massage therapists, golf instructors, swim instructors. That's readily available, and not only in front of us, but at the click of a button. They've made it easy. If you watch a TV ad, if you watch a radio ad, you've got to pull out your smartphone. You've got to text some number to some phone number, get a response back, swipe your credit card, do all this and that. Or if you go to Pinterest and I'm looking for awesome pocket squares, I can just look up men's pocket square, find one, and Pinterest conveniently has a buy button right next to that. I can hit that buy button. It's already linked up to my credit card. It's already linked up to my PayPal, and it already has all my address, and it's on its way instantaneously. And I don't have choice. I don't have a chance to have an abandoned cart, which for those of you guys who are not in e-commerce, that's when people are up late at night or whatever, and they're like loading up, oh, I like this, I like that, I like this. And then they get to the checkout screen and they're like, oh, I didn't want to spend $150 on pocket squares. I just wanted to buy this one. And now they just shut it down and they don't even purchase that one. But now something like a Pinterest shows you exactly what you need, and it allows you to purchase it right then and there directly from the app with the click of a button, with everything already to go. You have to put no information in, and that is the future of doing business in the new age.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'll talk to you. I was working with a real estate company, and they have a lot of people that'll call them from different parts of the country and say, hey, I'm really interested in this area because, guys and gals, reason why I said dark fiber is because if you're entrepreneurial and you are a capitalist, you would be very, 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 very smart to figure out how to get into a relationship with these companies that are laying down dark fiber, because you can then, especially if you're a real estate agent, because now you can help them create the infrastructure on how to build homes in that area. You know why? Because everybody nowadays is looking for an amenity. Wi-Fi and connectivity to the online community is an amenity. So I was working with a real estate firm today, and they're like, man, supply is low. I said, well, let me help you out with how you handle supply. You go talk with Google and talk about how you can create a Google community. Hey, we would love to be able to go in and do a JV and offer a Google Fiber community. And you would be able to lay the fiber, and then what happens is all these homes are now connected to Google Fiber's platform, which means you're getting paid every month. But you've created a Google community. And they were looking at me kind of crazy. And I said, it's because of new media that these ideas are now not considered crazy anymore. Because no longer will mom and dad want to go buy a home because they want a new home. They're going to go buy a home because they can get on the internet. They can shop online. They can have e-commerce. They can order pizza online if they want. All these things. But I will also tell you that they're also wanting to get online too, because it helps them save money on the back end. Now they can get Netflix on their laptops. Now they can download their kids' favorite educational games on an online channel. And so what I would say from traditional to new is that new came in and usurped traditional because traditional refused to play ball with new right away. So what's happened is that new has now been able to create augmented reality, virtual reality, live streaming reality. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't believe me, L'Oreal just signed a huge deal with Instagram to have makeup on Instagram stories. And Instagram stories has been around for how long? A week?
Barely a week, man.
So what Frank is really trying to lay down to everyone here, and what I really want to extend from a business development standpoint, is that I'm always thinking about how to help companies develop, because new media is laying the red carpet out for me to do that. Traditional media is having to get to where they're either going to have to close down or they're going to have to play ball with new media, because people no longer want to pay $350 to $400 for an advertisement. Because I can go to Facebook and spend $20 on a targeted ad and specifically narrow down to the point of the color of somebody's shoes that ad can go to, and it can reach 5,000 people, and all I got to do is hit submit.
Boom, boom. Now, there's a way for you to really take advantage of all of the new media and the traditional media. But I want to talk about the media companies that are traditional, companies like ABC, companies like NBC. Now, I don't follow politics. I'm not a political person. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't vote Democratic. I don't vote Republican. I vote entrepreneurial. And whoever's going to help me out in mine. And I suggest every business person do the same, whether you believe in X, Y, or Z. But I'm not into politics, and I'm not, and I don't mean to sound ignorant, but I am. I'm so focused on my business. I don't pay attention to what Trump's saying. I don't pay attention to what Hillary's saying. I don't. But I am on social media, and I make a living on social media. And I'm seeing posts being shared of all of the speeches. Like Bill Clinton gave a speech at the Democratic National Convention. And as I'm scrolling through my timeline, people are talking about it. But before, it was people just posting about it. Now people are sharing ABC's coverage, NBC's coverage, CNN's coverage, because they're all doing Facebook Live. And now they're getting people in the 20,000 plus who are watching live stream videos in real time, plus millions watching those replays of those speeches. And it's got the same quality as it would for a nation, for a TV station, because they have a TV station. Crane for president, baby. Absolutely. Crane for prez, baby. Now, because of that, they now have a leg up on all of us live streamers. Like if you're watching me broadcast live on Periscope, I only have my iPhone 6 Plus, 13 megapixel or 8 megapixel camera, whatever that is. These guys have, 4K HD, and they're broadcasting in much better resolution. So that's a win for traditional media because they are adapting to new media. And you're now seeing applications like NBC, ESPN. Like I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, and on Saturday, ESPN, through their application, is going to stream the preseason game between the Cowboys and the Rams, and I can now watch that anywhere in the world. And when I go to the Philippines here in 2 weeks, I'm now going to be able to watch every single game through DirecTV in the Philippines of my Dallas Cowboys, and I will not miss a game. On demand, I can skip through commercials, and that's a win for those types of companies right there.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you think that can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. There's traditional media at its finest right there, ladies and gentlemen. But if you don't believe that traditional media is trying to adapt, all you got to do is say two words: instant replay, adaptability. Okay. New media doesn't have instant replay yet. Traditional media figured that out first. Now, what will happen though is that companies like ABC and CBS and all these different companies, you're already starting to see them have to-go apps. ESPN realized very quickly, why do you think ESPN started doing football games and airing them in different countries? Because they were gearing up for a streaming portion. They wanted to gauge interest. They wanted to see if their traditional viewers, which is in the United States, if they would lose viewership. And what happened? It went up. You know why? Because people were able to access it on new media outlets. So what's going to really happen, I think, Frank, is that you're going to see ESPN have its own digital network. You're going to see CBS have its own digital network. ABC owns ESPN. Walt Disney owns them all. And so, so what happens is that I think that a lot of your big boy companies and big girl companies are really trying to figure out the space. What I will tell you that they're not doing is understanding that it's our age group, and it's the folks like myself and Frank and so many other live streamers that already know how to present and perform and utilize the platforms. They should create advisory committees throughout the entire world. They should have one in the South. They should have one in the Southeast, Southwest, like advisory committees. And here's what I will tell you. Why? Because there's not a commentator on ESPN right now that's going to step up on Periscope and be able to deliver a better message than I will or that Frank will. The only difference is what Frank said. They're going to have a better backdrop. They're going to have better suits on. They're going to have better screens and better cameras. But because you guys are able to see them in a much larger capacity because they have ESPN, you're going to go watch them. But pound for pound, toe to toe, there ain't nobody touching me on that platform. And why? It's because you have to adapt. So, Frank, to your point, I think traditional media has its place. But if traditional media does not want to become a dinosaur, then they need to continue to do what ESPN's doing. And I think what ESPN's doing with this game, streaming it like they're doing, is groundbreaking, but it also allows me to appreciate that company even more.
100%, man, 100%. So if we have somebody right now who is an entrepreneur, if somebody right now is really saying, okay, I have a marketing budget, I want to allocate my resources, because again, money is a tool. Money gets you things done. Money buys you value, and you can, as a business owner, choose what kind of value that you put out into the marketplace and where you allocate and invest your resources. So if somebody right now has a substantial marketing budget, who is a sophisticated entrepreneur, let's say they had 6 figures, 100 grand to invest in the next 30 days in media, how much of that would you allocate towards new media? Where would you put it? And how much of that would you allocate towards traditional media? And where would you put that? I mean, I know it's a very vague question, but let's just say like a mom and pop small business, and they are a brick and mortar retail location, and they have online e-commerce.
So short answer, Frank, would be 70-30 new to traditional. But what I would tell those brick and mortar small mom and pop businesses is that you have to have a very strategic understanding of your target market as well. So like, for instance, in my community, I would probably tell mom and pop businesses that you would want to go 70-30 the other way, because the demographics are more likely to see traditional media than there are going to be new media. However, if you aren't going to take that 30% and do new media, then what you're going to do is you're going to pigeonhole yourself to only be able to market to a particular demographic, and you're not going to be able to have that scalability. And so, but just long story short, 70-30, hands down, new versus traditional on a marketing budget, period.
I love that. I love that. And for the record, Matt lives in Pulaski, Tennessee, and he's got a more rural community. I live out in Austin, Texas, about 40% of the year, and I'm in the Philippines 60% of the year. So in Austin, everybody's on their smartphone. Everyone's got Twitter. Everyone understands that. So yes, definitely look at your market. Definitely look at what kind of value you can bring to your individual community, and obviously tailor your marketing plan per industry. But I would like to bring up the fact that if you are a business owner and you're not considering traditional media, I feel like that's something that could hinder you, because once you show up on the TV, there's some type of officialness. Because anybody like Matt Crane and I, even though we're very humble about our talents and our intangibles, guess what? Everybody right now can pick up their phone right now in the next 30 seconds, download Periscope, and get their message out there. But not everybody can get a TV spot. Not everybody can get a radio spot. There is a barrier to entry there. And so if you are on TV, if you are on radio, if you are on the newspaper, maybe you are now buying credibility. Maybe you are now buying value. Maybe you are now buying a little street cred. And now you're able to say, my business was featured on here. And even though you paid for it, hey, you were still featured on there. You can now forever say that. So there is a little bit of clout there. There's a little bit of street cred, if you will, in that marketplace. So I definitely wanted to still keep people's minds open to traditional media. But yes, definitely focus on your on new media. If you want to be on the web, great. Every small business should be on the web. I meet so many people that don't even have websites. I met 4 people today at a conference here in Las Vegas that didn't have websites, and they're like, oh, I'm working on it. You don't have a retail real estate online right now. You are homeless online.
Well, and here's the funny thing, Frank, is that you don't even have to have a website. All you have to have is a landing page, and that landing page can be set up to strategically say coming soon. Right? What new media has allowed you to do is to be more creative, where traditional media, man, once it's printed, it's there. There's no more creativity. That's why they would always tell people, especially in the political realm, that Frank's not really in tuned in, and I get it. I actually am, okay, because I did hold public office, is that, check and triple check. Well, what I love about new media is that it allows me the opportunity to make me wearing a flat bill with the Sale One hat and a V-neck the new suit. You know why? Because money talks. And because I know how to leverage a platform that gives me the opportunity to reach 1.3 billion people, it also allows me to extend the opportunities to get paid. And so where traditional media here, hey, so let me prove this point real quick, Frank. You know how I roll, man. I just got to, if you don't mind, I want to teach the audience something from a business development standpoint.
Bless us, baby. Bless us.
So I want you guys to go to your local radio station right now, and I want you to ask them how much it would cost to run an advertisement on their radio station twice a week for 30 days. And then I want you to go a step further and say, and I would like for you to run it at the best 2 most listened to times on the airwave. Then I want you to go on the third layer, and I want you to ask them to provide you with weekly analytical data of how many people tuned in, how long they were there, and what reach that message got. They're not going to tell you. They're going to give you a soup bowl of information, right? And we know what a soup bowl is. It's a big bowl, and you don't know what really goes in it. So what new media does is it not only allows me to take the same budget that I would spend on a radio advertisement, but it allows me, the user, to target not only who I want to see it, but I can target at what time they can see it. I can target the message at any point and edit that. But then I can go back every single day and find out, was it an organic reach? Was it a paid reach? When did they share it? What age group predominantly saw it? Where they predominantly saw it, whether it was their mobile phone or whether it was their laptop or whatnot. And here's why I say that. Because you'll spend 3 times as much money on traditional media than you will new media, because traditional media knows that most people's real problem is that they don't take the time to learn the new media platforms. So what I will show you from a business development standpoint is how I can give you a $350 monthly marketing budget, and where you'll get 1 advertisement on traditional media, I can get you $3,000 worth of media coverage on new media that'll make you 10 times as much money.
So you're telling me that you can pay a 1/10 of the cost and get 10 times the results?
Absolutely. So for instance, if you own a restaurant right now, statistics show that people are willing to drive up to 50 miles for their best plate of food. Okay, so traditionally 50 miles is an hour. Most people can think in terms of driving an hour for the best meal. But if I want to take a radio advertisement and reach people within a 50-mile radius, it's going to be a lot more difficult because I have no control over the airways. However, I can get on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all these places, and I can create an ad that can be 50 miles within my zip code, and it'll target those people based on the hashtags that they research, based on the conversations that they're having in social media, and also based on the trends of their post. I can even go a step further. I can't control whether Frank's going to listen to me on the radio or not, but I can control whether he watches me online. And guess what? I'm going to reach 5,000 people tonight with an ad that I'll put online for $20. I don't know if I'm going to reach 5 people with an ad that I'll put on the radio for $375. And I live in a town that's got 30,000 people. Think about that one, ladies and gentlemen.
That's great. That's great. And the final thing that I love is, we've been talking about it, and I want to be, we've been beating around the bush a little bit, but I want to kind of put it out there and point out the elephant in the room. New media, the way that you market, you can measure, and you can measure way more effectively. A lot of people like to ask, what is the ROI of social media? And while you can't say so-and-so, unless you're selling something directly, oh, our investment on Facebook ads has increased brand awareness this much. You can tell the difference, but you can't directly say this is the exact ROI, because it pays off in different ways. It could be, community building. It could be brand awareness. It could be dollars. It could be promotions. It could be referrals. There's so many ways that people could benefit from new media and social media in particularly. But whenever you get out and you look at the performance of every single ad on any platform, it'll tell you it showed up exactly these many times. You had exactly these many clicks. People, when they went to your website, they stayed on your website and clicked on this link, this picture. They were on here for this amount of time, and they even came back on there. So you can have so many ways for you to continue that relationship with your potential prospect. And On top of that, with something like a Facebook Pixel, you are now kind of in their web browser, and if they're looking up shotguns, if they're looking up pocket squares, if they're looking up awesome hats, if they're looking up headphones, whatever they're looking at right now online on Amazon, Facebook, and everybody in this room who has a Facebook, everybody in this room has given Facebook permission explicitly to market to them, and Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest, and here the new platforms that are coming soon, the ads are going to be there, you know, and you've explicitly said it is okay for you to advertise to me. And that is something that in the history of mankind, you've never been able to have a more curated list than right now in 2016 across multiple platforms. Because if you add up all of the social media platforms, you know, Twitter's got a few 100 million, Facebook's got a few billion, Pinterest got 400 million, Instagram's got a few 100 million, you know, and so on and so forth. If you added those up, that's almost the population of the entire planet. And of course, it's not everybody on the world, but if you are marketing a campaign on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook, you are now taking part of people's new me time. When you're at church, before the sermon starts, or sometimes even when the sermon does start, people are looking at their phones. That's their me time. When I'm traveling on a plane, I'm not talking to my neighbors, you know, and I'm a super social guy. I'm a crazy social guy, but my me time is now on the most expensive 6 inches of real estate in the entire planet, my mobile phone.
Yeah, so, you know, 2 points to that. Frank, man, that was – now, guys, you think that I dropped diamonds, that was hardcore. But I'm holding up a card for Daddy Bob's Pimento Cheese and for Jimbo's Family Barbecue. The reason why I'm holding this up is that both of these are companies that were created in my hometown. And guess where the predominant of their sales are? California, Washington, Utah, Arizona, all these places. You know why? Because people that see their posts from all these places that are driving through to go to Florida for vacation that come through our community will stop in these restaurants, or they see where you can hit that shop now button. And because e-commerce is now more available than ever, and because the FDA will allow you to dry ice ship products all over the country, guess what happens? Now their brick and mortar location is nothing but credibility. That brick and mortar location is nothing but to prove to the people that the community that you're in, that we call this home. Mm-hmm. But our business is worldwide. The second thing that I want to say to all of that is that traditional media, okay. So let me hang on. Let me move back one more point. So everybody likes to be heard, right, Frank? Everybody wants that instant gratification that their business message was heard, that their voice is heard, that they're being appreciated. I don't see any virtual likes happening through a traditional radio platform. So every time I get on the mic on a radio station, I don't know who's listening or not. But I do know on every social media platform that I'm being heard when that like button got put out, when Facebook put the thumb out, when Twitter put out the like and the retweet. And so what happens now is that as a business and as a brand on new media, I immediately start building a pipeline. Mm-hmm. I cannot build a pipeline on traditional media because I don't have any instantaneous way to capture all that. So I held up these 2 business cards because in a town of 30,000 people, 2 businesses, completely 2 different models, are now expanding in different parts of the state because they have people from all over the world that want to know more about their product. But hey, that $375 ad they were spending a month on the radio station really got them there, didn't it?
Man, so Matt, check this out. Matt, I love the way that Matt approaches the game, because Matt is right now, because he assists and serves those companies to really get to that level. What he's doing is he's bringing tax dollars to his community. He's getting better roads and schools and infrastructure for his family, his 2 kids, his wife, people that come visit him. He's proud. I mean, he's always repping his city. He's proud of his community. He's proud of the stuff that he does. He has held public office in his community. He is somebody that's like says, look, I'm here. I'm holding it down. I'm shouldering the weight. And I'm saying, guys, this is a new way to bring money into our community. And the world needs more Matt Cranes and more communities like that, so there can be prosperity all over the world. I run my business. When I go to the Philippines, I run my business anywhere in the world, and all I need is the internet. That's all that I need. So I really appreciate the angle that somebody like a Mr. Matt Crane comes from to the marketplace, and everybody can learn from having that type of commitment to their local community, their infrastructure, and so much more. So really challenge yourself to know, okay, this social media thing, this new media thing, it is not only viable, it is extremely viable. It is the future. It's what everybody's moving to every single month, every single week. People are downloading Periscope, Snapchat, Instagram. I was watching Jimmy Kimmel the other day. Jimmy Kimmel was Periscoping live on his show. He is on ABC on late night where they have billions of dollars to spend on marketing to promote his show, and he's still on Periscope, okay? And he's a cool dude, and he's kind of trendy. And if he's on there, guess what? The next night, Jimmy Fallon was on there. Who else was on there? Steve Harvey, all the talk show people, because they know, they see the engagement that they have with their audience through something like a Periscope. So we haven't even talked about live streaming yourself as far as the traditional media. So Facebook Live, Periscope, Busker, Live.ly. There's so many of these other platforms that are out there. But you now, and every single one of us on listening to my voice right now, whether you're catching us live on Periscope or catching us live on Blab, watching this on YouTube, listening to this on iTunes, on SoundCloud, Podcast Republic, Stitcher, everyone listening to my voice, the phone that you have in your pocket every single day is a billion-dollar broadcasting station that is backed by multi-billion-dollar companies like Google, like Facebook, like Android, like Snapchat, like Twitter, and that's never an Apple, and that's never been available in the history of mankind. I was watching an interview that Dale Carnegie did with Henry Ford and Benjamin Franklin. Okay, this was like in 1900-something in black and white. They had one microphone, and back then one microphone maybe cost somebody 10 years' salary. A decade's worth of salary for one microphone, and he was on that platform, and we're still talking about him today. We're still getting his message because he was able to use all of these platforms that was available to him at that time to deliver his message, and it was passed down to generation to generation to generation. And now when people are dropping 5 figures to get Dale Carnegie certified through the Dale Carnegie University because he has his own curriculum out, his family now has generational wealth, and he has left a legacy to his family. And every single one of us has that option if only we were to commit, if only we were able to be consistent, if only we were able to realize that this is such a powerful platform. Imagine somebody like Oprah, who came up in the 1980s, who every single day still broadcasted on TV. Do you know how hard it was for a black fat woman, overweight woman to be on TV at the time? She's got fired from different networks, and she still persevered. She still made it. Somebody like Tony Robbins was able to go out and still put his message out there and still do that. Imagine if he had this opportunity. Imagine if a Tony Robbins, an Oprah, had this technology at their fingertips. Where would they be right now? Where would they be? Seriously, think about that question.
Well, absolutely. But I mean, there's so many things that you just said right there that were home run hitters. But I mean, think about the lady that threw the Chewbacca mask on Facebook. She had more hits on her Facebook page on that one video than Mark Zuckerberg did. And he founded Facebook. And because of that, she became a spokesperson for Star Wars, Disney. She was on Ellen, Good Morning America, all these different shows. And why? Because she literally took 6 inches of real estate and created 6 years of credibility on whatever she wants to do. And all she did was put on a mask. And I think that's what's so funny is that people who are still sitting on the fence with new media are going to, it's kind of like a network marketing company. I was telling somebody this the other day. I said, new media is like a network marketing company. You're either going to hit when the wave is going, or you're going to finally decide to jump in when it's too late. And let me help you out with something. There's 7 billion people on planet Earth. 1.3 billion of them use Facebook. Okay. So imagine that for a moment. And then I want you to think to yourself, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? And in small communities and in rural communities and in big communities, You want to keep young people in your community, mom and dads out there, you want to keep your kids at home, up your internet plan. Quit having the bogey plan and go get the Eagle plan. Okay? Because what happens is that, hey, if I want to be a photographer, if I'm smart, mom and dad, I'm going to get on Amazon.com and I'm going to buy a $170 kit. And then I'm going to be able to leverage photography online, shooting videos, creating commercials for all these companies. So there's just so much that new media can do. And yet we're so bent on allowing talented people to leave and go to these places that are embracing it. When, you know what, man, all you got to do is just have a developmental mindset, leverage what's available, and create something out of nothing. And that's what new media allows you to do. Hey, I said it earlier, and I'm going to say this again. It's going to go on a shirt. I'm going to have shirts galore. But why use a microphone when you can have a megaphone? They're both valuable, but which one's going to get heard the loudest? So, Frank, I'm going to say this really quick, too, because I just had this pop in my head. Is that, have y'all ever heard that saying, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around, could you hear it? Well, check this out. That's what traditional media is. But on new media, the tree's always being heard because 24/7 turnkey operations never close.
Ooh, man. So we gotta wrap this up, man. We laid some diamonds in this. So Matt Crane and I, we don't do golden nuggets. We don't do gems. We do diamonds, baby. And diamonds are not only a girl's best friend, but they're a business owner's best friend in the boardroom, baby. And when you drop diamonds down there on the boardroom, guess what? You get paid in diamonds. When you drop diamonds, you get paid in diamonds. So share the world your diamonds, and the marketplace will pay you diamond level prices. I promise you that. So my final thoughts on traditional media, my final thoughts on new media is I still think you should incorporate traditional media. I still incorporate traditional media nonstop. You will never see me turn down a radio show interview. You will never see me turn down a TV interview. You will never see me turn down a chance to promote my books or courses on traditional media. However, if I'm investing and allocating my resources, 99.9% of the time, it's going to social media. It's going to new media. It's going to be in your applications. It's going to be on web, pay-per-click, social media. I want to be where the eyeballs are. And if you don't believe me, right now, August 11th, 2016, walk out to any public space in any part of the world. And I'm a global traveler. I associate myself with different cultures, and it's the same. Every human being is looking down at their phone everywhere you go. So Matt Crane, final thoughts on new media versus traditional media.
First of all, great show tonight. Frank Salas said it like nobody's business. You know, diamonds are forever, but diamonds were also lumps of coal at one point. The only difference is that they were worked into diamonds. Traditional media is a lump of coal. It's necessary. Coal is a part of life. But if you're willing to commit and put in the work and truly try to change the formation of where you are in your life and your business, you're going to turn it into a diamond. But I will say this from a closing thought standpoint, is that if you're not committed enough to want to change the trajectory of where you currently are, then you're always going to be stuck in a traditional merry-go-round. But if you're willing to commit and you're willing to take these new platforms and you're willing to expand your mindset, then you're going to ride the roller coaster of life. So I'm going to sum it up like this, Frank, for everybody listening on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Periscope, Blab. Thank you all for tuning in and for listening in. But if you don't believe that you're already embracing new media, if you don't mind, after this show, go give me a call on your home phone, and I'll be waiting for it.
I don't have a home phone, Matt. What is that?
So welcome to the new age, baby.
I love it. I love it. Matt Crane, where can people get to join your inner circle? Where can people find more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, across the board on all social media platforms at I Am Matt Crane. I'm a service-based social media savant. I only look to serve on social media. But there's two areas that I would tell people right away that you want to definitely get a part of my service offers. Number one, you want to get on Periscope. Every Monday through Thursday, I offer complimentary live streaming training on different topics of business, sales, marketing, live streaming, motivation. And that happens on the Periscope application at I Am Matt Crane. And then number two, I have an exclusive complimentary training, Business Builders Inner Circle. That link's on Facebook, bit.ly/BizDevWithMatt. We network, We drop different tips on all these different things that we talk about. But more importantly, there's people inside that business development inner circle that are already creating business with one another. I'm literally wanting to use that inner circle, Frank, as a platform for other people to grow. So it's not like you're going to join and I'm expecting a lot of things from you. What I will tell you is that my commitment is to always give you what you need, complimentary. Your commitment to me is just to simply ask to join. That's it.
That's it. That's it. I love that. I love that. Matt Crane is my big bro. He helps me out. He helps me serve. If I'm slipping, guys, if I'm slipping, and I'm an influencer, man, I've got a little swag to me. But if I'm slipping, the first person to call me out, the first person in line to call me out with instant replay, with photos, with screenshots is my boy Matt Crane. So if you don't have somebody like Matt Crane in your corner who is a service leader, who is a leader who leads by example, with experience, and with nothing but service and value, you've got to be a part of his inner circle. Go to bit.ly/bizdev with Matt, or just go to Facebook and search for the private Facebook group, Cranes Crew. Now, if you want to be a part of my inner circle and be a superstar in my talent tribe, go to bit.ly/talented one, or go to Facebook.com and look for the private Facebook group, the Talent Tribe, where I drop exclusive trainings. Matt Crane comes in and serves on my tribe. I come in and serve with Matt's tribe. We, in true abundance, exchange followers, exchange tribes leaders, tag team up, and we come every single week, Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Pacific time, or wherever you are in the world. Make sure you do your conversions. Big shout out to Sunshine Lady Annette out in Munich, Germany. It's 2 o'clock in the morning for her, and she has always been on every one of our shows. We got mad love for you. She's in Cranes Crew. She's a superstar in the Talent Tribe, and we just want to say thank you so much for your attention. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're rocking with the Millennial Moguls, baby.
Absolutely, man. Sunshine she's phenomenal. She always shows up. And, you know, Frank, my final thing tonight will be this. True gurus and experts in the space know how to put people in front of other gurus and experts if they're truly serving. So the next time you're looking for that guru, if they're only trying to keep your eyes on them, then they're not an expert. They're looking at you to help them become an expert. Experts know how to give you what you need because they service what you truly want.
Boom, boom. All right, guys, Millennium Moguls, episode 5. That's a wrap.